do you think about that, bro? Bring this one in. I know you're a massive fan of this.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we saw this at the Ubisoft conference, and it's interesting that Sony decides to show it, and we know why, right? Okay, there's more exclusive stuff. So there's exclusive missions that are going to be happening for you on your Sony PlayStation. 4, but not on your Xbox One.
No.
So it's I mean, there's a whole heap of these that Sony are doing. They've got all these third-party things they're showing off at their conference as though it's their thing, and then they just sort of tack on this reason at the end, and the reason is we've got this exclusive content for you. That's why we're showing you. And I don't know, I was kind of...
It's pretty, well, really, it's like Sony doesn't really have a lot to show for this year.
No, so...
It's all 2016, which I'm fine with because there's so much going on, but I think that's why they're doing it. It's like, hey, we've got nothing to show this year, but...
I think that's exactly why.
Exclusives.
They realised that they had nothing to show, and I think they went to all of these people and said, look, come and be at our conference, give us some exclusive stuff, we'll pay through the teeth for it, because we got nothing this year. And I think that's exactly... I think you're right.
Also on top of that, though, like...
It sucks, though. I hate exclusivity.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. That's another podcast I think we've talked about before, but we can go into more that kind of stuff. It might be interesting to go head-to-head on why and whatnot.
Yeah.
But things that I got from the Assassin's Creed Syndicate trailer and stuff, they are not introduced, but they showed the second character. That So they're going to play, twin sister of Jacob. But they also showed that even though she's a second character, they were saying that she's more of a stealth player. So it's giving you, instead of, I guess, playing the way that you want to, it's like this person's stealth and Jacob isn't.
Yeah, I get they're trying to set it up like he's the butch, he's the guns blazing sort of dude. He'll go in there and he'll be like fisticuffs, and she's the one that goes around the back and sort of sneaks in and slips poison into your drink or a dagger into the back of your neck when you're not looking. But to be honest, I don't think it's going to be that diverse. I think it'll feel that way in terms of how the characters are portrayed. But I think the gameplay will be exactly the same. They might have like one extra move, like he might have an uppercut that he does during combat, and she might have throwing daggers that he doesn't have.
A flip dodge.
Yeah, some crap like that. But essentially they will be the same characters, and because once you select which character you're playing as during the mission, apparently you can't change. You can change on the fly during open world gameplay, but not during a mission.
Yeah. Oh,
so they're not.
They're going to do the Grand Theft Auto thing.
Well, right. Yeah. Where are you? But
Jacob's taking a shit.
Yeah, I don't think it would be that restrictive. I don't think they would stop you from being able to play the game the way you want to play the game. So yeah, he'll still be able to be just as stealthy as she is, and she'll be able to be just as butch as him, I would imagine.
And no co-op. I mean, sorry, multiplayer.
Yeah, which I'm actually excited about. Yep. I think that's...
I think it will focus their...
Well, I think that they've been, sort of spreading their whatever's too thin. I can't remember the phrase, but you know what I mean. Like, and if it's good that they can just focus on one thing and get it right, because Unity had its problems, as we all know. And yeah, I think they needed to do this. And if they nail the single player in this, and they really do, they could revitalise Assassin's Creed, and it needs a revitalisation, to be honest.
What do you think about its being set in London?
Oh, I like it. It's like it's the closest to the present.
Yeah,
that we've
it seems
been.
like it's getting closer. Like
every time
after this, but like Sony seems interesting going through the what's the era called?
Like the Victorian
Victorian era of the steel mills and all that stuff.
Yeah, like the Industrial Revolution.
It's
kind of like all steam trains and there's coaches and like horse-drawn carriages and stuff like that. So there's now vehicular sort of game mechanics that have been introduced, which is going to really open up the gameplay. It'll be interesting to see how that works. Because Batman's done something similar by introducing the Batmobile, and that's going to totally change the way you play Batman. And I've actually read a recent review which doesn't shine a very good light on it.
On Batman?
Yeah. Apparently the gameplay is too centered around the vehicle, and it kind of feels a bit more like Batman and Robin styles, and a bit contrived, and takes it away from that sort of almost Christopher Nolan-esque style of Batman that we had from the previous games.
Yeah. Well, I guess by the time this video comes out, Batman should already be out.
Yeah, more than likely.
So,
and there'll be reviews online and stuff.
Probably playing it then. I'm personally, I'm going to skip it.
Yeah, I'm going to say...
there's so many games out there. I think it's one of those games that I'm eventually going to play. But I think just for now, I'm still on Witcher. Jeez, I'm only level 12.
Yeah. Still on Final Fantasy 10.
Anyway, hey, speaking of Final Fantasy, so the big one, World of Final Fantasy.
Yes, it's huge.
The biggest one there.
It looks like Nintendo got together with Final Fantasy and had little...
So, World of Final Fantasy seems like this cutesy, colourful kind of... They have characters from the Final Fantasy series.
All your beloved
and they've got
favourites.
It seems like a kind of Kingdom Hearts-ish kind of style.
Yeah.
Your thing?
I don't know what they're doing.
No.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Who's it for? I got no idea.
For kids, those ones who are interested in Kingdom Hearts.
Cool.
No?
If you're interested in... Kingdom Hearts is the game you play if you're interested in Kingdom Hearts. What
about cartoon stuff? What about the kids?
I just feel like... Surely, if you're going to focus on showcasing Final Fantasy characters, then it's for Final Fantasy fans.
Yeah.
I can't think of any kids who are Final Fantasy fans. Kids, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's our era. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I'm bloody 33 years old. I don't give a shit about your cutesy little Nintendo frickin' Spawn.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
I'm not into any of this thing, and just because it's Final Fantasy, I don't think it will draw my interest.
No, yeah, I just don't know what they're doing. I don't know who it's for. I mean, I know who it's for. They're clearly aiming it at kids. I hope, because if it's for me, you really missed the mark. Otherwise, yeah.
But switching over from something like the cutesy Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
Holy shit. People lost their shit at the conference. Like, there's reaction videos, if you haven't already seen on YouTube and stuff. It's just people going crazy. Massive surprise. Massive surprise.
Yeah.
Now, when I saw the conference, and as soon as they talked about World of Final Fantasy, and then they said they've got a treat for everyone, and then I saw the live stream, the green live stream come across the screen, and that's when I knew right away.
Really?
That I was like, oh, this is Final Fantasy VII.
Dude.
And then as it kind of progressed, and then wait, no.
But you were hopeful, right?
Yeah, no, I was like, wait, that's the live stream. This is it. Oh, Final Fantasy.
But you're wanting it to be.
Yeah, this
you're
is.
Like,
I knew this is Final Fantasy something.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that really looks like the live stream, this thing. And then the music started, and there was another thing. I was like, oh, there's the live stream. Oh, the music's kicked in.
Yeah.
And then the kids going down in the playground.
That's when I got it. When I saw that
two kids playing with the Buster Swords.
That's when I knew.
And then the flower is obviously dying.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. And it started to look like Midgar, and you remember Eris and the flower girl.
Yeah, but they were still hiding it though. Like it was a futuristic city.
But there were enough nods to the original that any true fan, they're licking their lips, just going, yes, please, yes, just don't fucking toy with me. Make it so.
Yeah.
And they did.
But yes, exactly. So it ends up with you see Barrett's gun, and then Cloud's Buster Sword, and that's kind of all you see, and they fully make it remake.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, it just sort of closes
remake.
down.
Remake. And do you know what was really cool? It was really cool to get the reactions at the E3, just people going absolutely nuts for this game. Now, they first teased Final Fantasy VII, not a remake, but like a technical demo for the PS3 a couple years back. And there was just a tech demo, and then they squashed the rumor by saying, no, it's not a remake. And now they brought this out of nowhere. What do you think about this, Ro?
Oh, dude, this is the announcement of the whole thing for me.
Yeah?
It's the biggest surprise. I didn't see it coming. I don't really think anyone saw it coming, to be honest. And it's the best news. Like, it's exactly what I want. It's what I've been wanting for years. Even before, as you say, that tech demo, whenever the hell that was, even before that was first sort of teased, I wanted it. You know, so it's just been this thing I've been wanting for so long, and it's finally happening, and it looks so freaking good. And I'm just so excited to see what they do with it. I mean,
that's what I'm most excited about. It's an actual remake, so not a reskinning, not a graphically better version.
Yeah.
And
ground up.
Yeah, ground up. Let's.
What do you want from it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
That's the big question.
What do I want from it? So, I would like a 3D look at the game. I don't want the Final Fantasy VII PlayStation 1 version. I don't want the top down but in like 3D. I want to actually be able to maybe a third-person style of the game.
Yes. Like recent sort of Final Fantasies, I guess. Like Final Fantasy 13.
But also familiar places, but now that you can actually explore and change the camera angle, maybe that's kind of...
I expect that they'll do that, to be honest. I expect we'll be more in with the characters, moving around, very similar, and the fights will happen.
That's the thing about the fights, though. Will it be a turn-based kind of fighting style, or like you've seen Final Fantasy Advent Children?
Yeah.
The fighting styles in that, they could jump like 20 stories in the air.
That was crazy, though. I don't know. I mean, is it canon? It is
canon.
Like, is it part of the actual series? You know, is it part of the theme of the Final Fantasy that we know, Final Fantasy VII? Doing that, you know, like, because we didn't see that in the original game. It seems
very, very Japanese, doesn't it? Like that they can do all these kind of almost fly.
But you couldn't do that in the game, right? In the original game.
No, you couldn't. You were grounded, and then they just my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn.
And then they just make this DVD, and they decide, well, we're going to go a little crazy with this, almost Dragon Ball Z styles.
Yeah. Well, it was a couple of years after the events of Final Fantasy VII, so
I'm just wondering if they need to adhere to what was presented in Advent Children.
So you'd rather see?
I don't think they need to. You know, I think they can totally, because they're remaking that, right, which has nothing to do with that. So I think they can focus on just being like Final Fantasy VII and staying true to some of the classic things from that game that we all know and love. I would say that the materia system has to be there.
Yeah.
And I think their biggest debate they're going to need to have amongst their development team is, do they have turn-based combat or not?
It's going to be interesting. But it is a remake. So, but also, I see what you mean about it's not toying with an already good foundation, I would say.
Yeah.
So, would you be happy with the turn-based style?
I would love it to stay turn-based, to be honest. I think there's no reason... I'm playing Final Fantasy X at the moment. That's turn-based. And I'm loving it. Loving every minute. Like, it works.
But would you like to see, like, an evolved Final Fantasy VII with, like, say, almost...
Would I be disappointed if
the fighting style of... was it Final Fantasy 13? Lightning?
Yeah.
I didn't really get into that, but that one was just kind of a touch button. She could almost fly and do all these flips and moves. And
Yeah. She was pretty...
She was pretty badass in that.
Yeah, that game actually just got really boring, though, because it was just like, every time you got to the combat, you were just like pressing the same button over and over again.
But maybe that style, what was it, the Final Fantasy 13-2? They kind of changed the mechanics a wee bit.
Yep, Final Fantasy 13-2 was better. I don't know. It's hard because I think that game relied a lot around the turn-based. I mean, that's what it was. So it would be it'd be so far removed to change that fact of the game. But I don't know.
Either way, though, like it would be cool to explore that world again. And if you think about it, and if you have recently played Final Fantasy VII, it's huge.
Oh yeah, it's a big game.
It's massive. So, well, I guess we'll see. And there was a shitload of summons in that game as well.
Oh yeah, probably.
It'd be cool to see.
Most. I think Final Fantasy VIII had the most, but it was still quite a lot.
Speaking of remakes, I would like to see Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, 8 would be good. Well, the director said he wants to do more remakes.
No, he wants to do the previous ones.
Yeah, he wants to do 5 and 6.
5 and 6, but after playing Final Fantasy VII and enjoying that so much, and then seeing 8 blew my mind.
I loved 8. Yeah, 7 got me into RPGs.
Yeah,
and 8 was the one I loved. Like, I think I did play that more than Final Fantasy VII. Although I prefer Final Fantasy VII. It is my favorite.
Yeah.
So I'm really keen and interested to see what he does with it. He did say it's not going to be exactly following Final Fantasy VII as we know it. He said that will be released as it is, like the PC portal of that will be released on PS4. And he said if you want to play the exact original Final Fantasy VII, then that's how you do it. You play that game. If you want to play the remake, which is, I guess, his reimagining of things, you play his game.
Yeah.
So it clearly is going to have some differences.
It's not going to... Not everybody's going to like it. It's going to divide people.
It will. There'll be people that love it. There'll be people that hate it.
It's just going to be... But still, it's quite a ballsy move, but such an awesome one too.
I'm just glad I live in a world where there's that choice, where I can be annoyed at a Final Fantasy VII remake that was attempted, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'd rather that happen than didn't happen at all.
Oh, we'll see. It's very exciting.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Next up, I didn't write them down, but...
Oh yeah,
Devolver Digital. They're doing a whole bunch of indie games for PS. Oh wait, let's go back a bit.
Backtrack.
Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be first on PS4.
Oh yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So Microsoft guys should get it as well, but first on PS4.
If you go out of your way to say first on PS4, it means it's coming to Xbox One.
Yeah. So I think it's a good movie. Everybody can give it a go, but people have been so excited about it. Like I've heard friends and people say, "I'm getting a PS4 so I can play Final Fantasy VII."
You know how Square decided they wanted to do their own conference this year?
Mm-hmm.
I think their big announcement was going to be the reveal of Final Fantasy VII. And Final Fantasy, and then Sony came along and went, "Oh shit, we got nothing this year, guys. Hey, look, they've got Final Fantasy VII. Let's just throw all this money at them and get some exclusivity as well, and then we'll put it at our conference."
Final Fantasy VII is originally a PlayStation 1 title, though.
It is. But Square doesn't owe anything to PlayStation. They don't have to.
What do you mean? They like put them on the map almost.
They don't. Yeah, but then they don't have to have their game exclusively anywhere.
Anyway, another chat for another time. Devolver Digital are doing a whole bunch of 5 new indie titles. I didn't write them down because I wrote down yawn, not my thing.
You took the time to write yawn and not my thing.
Yeah.
Right, that's 4 words. 4 words which could have been the titles of 4 games.
I don't care about freaking...
Yeah. One of them was called Russia, I remember games. That.
Yeah. They were very pixelated and the very old school 8-bit kind of style, but they're not my thing. No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. They didn't do it for me like, say, the indie games that were presented at the Microsoft conference.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Those ones, tickled me in places I haven't been tickled for a while, but... these ones didn't really do it, as you say. And it's nothing to do with, say, 8-bit graphics or retro style or anything like that, because Shovel Knight was a huge success as an indie game, and that game is exactly that. So, I don't know what exactly it was, but I saw it too, and I thought, not really interested. This particular game looks a bit like Streets of Rage, but with like worse sort of graphics. Even, I'd rather play Streets of Rage. But I don't know. I mean,
I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Let's go on to the next one. Kickstarter. Yes. Okay.
This is interesting.
Do you want to go on it?
Yeah, I mean, I find this to be very interesting because they came out on stage and they said, "Look, we've got this. We want to back this Kickstarter that's happening. This guy wants to bring back this beloved series, Shenmue 3." All right. Now they didn't say we're gonna help him. We're gonna. Well, I guess they said if he gets his goal, we'll help him. The game will be on PlayStation. Blah blah blah. But I just think it's very interesting that Sony came out on stage and presented a Kickstarter. They basically said, "We're not going to make this game, but if you guys want it, you can all pay for it." And
hey, I thought it was a good move.
And then if you're going to pay for it, then I suppose we'll know that you now want it, which is guaranteed success. It's money in the bag, so maybe we'll fund it now. I don't know. If Microsoft had done that, they would be fucking ripped the shit out of. But Sony just gets away with it.
They haven't been listening to their bloody fans. So if they had done that, they would have fucked up totally.
Well, exactly.
Sony can do this because they've been listening to their fans, and also to me, it shows that they're supporting Kickstarter movements and games. And this game was originally a Sega Dreamcast game, and it's kind of left to the fans. So if you want this game to happen, and the world record of 3 million in its first hour, if you have to say that Sony did help them out by just saying, "Hey, this game's going to happen.
Yep, that's
what
true.
do you think?"
Yeah,
3 hours later, they got $3 million.
It definitely got the money that it got.
Sorry, first hour.
It got the money as quick as it got because of the announcement. I would wager that Shenmue 3 would probably have reached its target anyway without Sony having announced it at its conference. I'm just not a fan of them coming out on stage and unveiling a game that they're not actually behind just yet. It just seems a little off.
Well, I don't know. I think because of this Kickstarter and just because how much money and kind of attention it's been getting. I think now Sony will be like, that was us. That
was us. That was us.
Totally. We helped you out, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good kind of business move, but not taking that risk on, depending on if this game kicks off or not. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know a hell of a lot about the game.
Because how would you have felt if they came out and every single game they announced at their conference was a Kickstarter? So they had nothing.
First thing that pops in my head would just be like the support of these games.
Yeah, you'd be like, cool. They really want to support these other developers. but what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your money? What are you making?
But that's not what they did.
No, that's not what they did. But I'm just trying to point out how I sort of feel about.
Yeah.
It's an interesting move, and I don't know. It seemed everyone was just excited about it, but I just want to point out that there is something interesting there that Microsoft wouldn't have gotten away with had they done it. Man.
I guess we'll see how it turns out. The next one I have up is Batman Arkham Knight, which you guys are probably already playing by the time this video has come up, but we've already talked about it, so we have.
I'll just point out that there is exclusive content for PlayStation 4 owners. You get the special Scarecrow missions, which you won't get on Xbox One.
And Harley Quinn story as well.
Oh, really? And that's PS4?
Oh, I know it's definitely on the PS4 if you get it early. I'm not too sure.
There might be Xbox One as well, but the Scarecrow stuff's definitely
the Scarecrow stuff is definitely for PS4. But I don't know. Going on in terms of it is an amazing game. It got I think on IGN around 9.2.
Yeah.
So it got amazing, but the review was kind of like meh.
Yeah, the GameSpot review, they were just saying it's a bit. Yeah, as I was saying before, they compared it more to Batman and Robin as opposed to The Dark Knight.
Yeah. That's playing it. You have your own opinion.
Yep, check out the reviews. We don't know, but I mean, they really just showed it at their conference because they wanted to obviously show another game because they've got nothing else coming out this year. And show their exclusivity that they've snatched up yet another one.
Next one I have up, I've got Project Morpheus, the VR thing. Now,
did you write yawn for that?
No. Shut up. Hater. So they showed a bit of Morpheus. They didn't go on a hell of a lot about it.
No, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I believe.
Yeah. Well, they had a very good reason for that. So because it's VR and you can't really show VR at a conference, it's more of an experience.
Yes.
So I think Shinya Yoshida did talk about they didn't want to show up too much of it. Like, these games are coming out, you know about it. VR is something to be experienced, so they didn't go on too much about it.
Yeah, it's hard. You need to be on the game floor.
And I thought that was a good move. Like, I know I do want to know more about the VR.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It's definitely in production, but I think the idea is early 2016.
Yeah.
That it will be out.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it'll be... It looks like expensive tech, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how much that retails for, to be honest.
What do you reckon the price point would be?
600?
$600?
Probably.
Maybe.
It needs to be accessible.
I'm thinking maybe 500.
Yeah, it probably needs to be cheaper in order for people to adopt it, but
yeah,
it just seems like it'll be really expensive. I wasn't impressed with the games they were showing. That Riggs looked a bit...
Oh yeah, they showed that Riggs, which was a 3-on-3 shooter.
Yeah.
Which is a fresh IP, so they got to give that a go at the E3. I don't know, man. That's interesting.
It just didn't really do much. I would have expected them to promote Morpheus a little bit more, because when are they going to promote it? If it's coming out next year, you know?
Well, I think they've got a lot more games in the pipeline that they haven't shown, or it's still new tech as well. And again, I think it's one of those things that has to be experienced.
I agree with that, yeah.
Like the HoloLens. Like, that HoloLens looked really good. But I think I have to see it to kind of be sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Activision. Activision came up on the stage and they did their whole announcement of Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Yeah, this was quite a big blow to Microsoft, really, because we didn't know where Call of Duty... I guess when we didn't see it at Microsoft, we knew it was going to appear at Sony. But, yeah, I mean, I think every 5 minutes he took an opportunity to say that PlayStation is now the home of Call of Duty. And yeah, they've clearly switched sides, which is fine. I mean, to be honest, I would have thought the player base was still actually more on an Xbox than it was on PlayStation.
I wonder if it's a tad bit too late, bro.
Yeah, like I think that's why Microsoft probably didn't bother. Like, Call of Duty probably said, you need to pay us more if we're going to be exclusive with stuff on your console. And Microsoft said, dude, you guys have been around way too long. Yeah. Call of Duty is old hat. Get out. We're going to go with something new. We're going to go with Cuphead.
Well, I don't know. It's more of the... now that PlayStation has the rights to...
Well, they get the exclusive DLC.
Yeah, so you get DLC first, and like I remember my friends who had like an Xbox 360, they were like, we get our stuff first. And it's a bit of a rub in the face now that it's been switched over, especially for those Call of Duty fans. I'm quite bored of Call of Duty.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah. But what do you think of the trailer, though? Like, it just seemed like another Terminator story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather play Deus Ex.
Yep.
Because, cyborgs and
They did show things like mission prep and was like set in 2025 and I don't know, different perks on the fly. Like I saw in the multiplayer they could change perks.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Instead of starting off with them, so
okay. I've never really played the multiplayer. It's not Call of Duty's just not my bag.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good.
Do you play it for a single player campaign? Totally. Yeah, so do I. But in saying that though, the Black Ops franchise is the one that I really invested in with the multiplayer.
Oh yeah, with multiplayer.
Yeah, because it was the first one that
zombies.
Yeah, oh no, it wasn't the first to do the zombies. World at War was the first to do the zombies, but Black Ops also did the zombies, and you could do the maps from World at War. So it was almost the carry on. If you weren't into the Nazi zombies yet, in Black Ops 1 you were, and then they did in Black Ops 2, and possibly with Black Ops 3 maybe.
Interesting. I was just thinking, even though Microsoft lost the exclusivity of Call of Duty, with the unveiling of their new Elite control pad, that's the sort of control pad that a Call of Duty Elite player would want.
Have. Yeah.
So that control pad in itself would probably be enough to retain some hardcore Call of Duty players.
Well, the PlayStation controller doesn't really need that stuff because it's pretty good anyway.
Yeah, we all know that's a lie.
What the fuck?
The Xbox control pad is by far and away the best control pad.
Piss off, mate.
The ergonomic design of that control pad.
No. It's a nice controller. I admit it. It's really good. The DualShock 4 is a massive step up though from the DualShock 3, but
is it?
Yeah, huge. We'll go on that another day though because we're still talking about E3. So Star Wars Disney Infinity.
Oh, yeah, Disney Infinity.
Star Wars Disney Infinity.
Yeah. Well,
no. Too kiddie for you?
Yeah. Again, it sort of falls into that same basket as the Final Fantasy World of Final Fantasy thing. I don't care. It's not for me.
But I think it's good for the kids though.
Yeah, great for the kids. I'm sure they love it.
And it's the Star Wars universe as well. So if you're just into that kind of stuff, like it's the sounds, the little figurines has been a massive pull. Like the amiibos and the freaking Skylanders and all that stuff.
All that shit. Yeah. That's good. The kids need something to play because Star Wars is pretty big at the moment.
Yeah, but also like even adults collect these amiibos and the Skylanders and all that stuff. So like now that it's Star Wars, people are going to be running for these things just because it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
You don't give a fuck.
No, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't.
No, that's all right. Speaking of Star Wars, though, Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
They showed a different trailer at the E3 Sony conference. Now they showed wasn't the Battle of Hoth, it was the Tatooine.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that yet again Sony's just got all this stuff at their conference. It's already been shown. Okay, we didn't see this particular battle, but we've already seen Star Wars Battlefront at the EA conference. We already saw Assassin's Creed at the Ubisoft conference. So they're just showing. They've really just dragged people in from everywhere and said, "Look, we've got nothing. And if you come, we'll pay extra and we'll give us exclusivity." And again, there's exclusive stuff on Star Wars, isn't there?
Yeah.
What is it?
So I don't know.
I can't remember.
No, I think it's just
there might not be.
I haven't read it.
But Star Wars is hard out plugging PlayStation. I mean, all their stuff was footage as as shot on a PS4.
Yeah, they said that it was running on a PS4, so it looks great.
It's the same with Destiny. Like they're just every time they showcase anything to do with their game, it is definitely targeted PlayStation.
Well, it's. From what I've read though, it's easier for the developers to make games on a PlayStation. What I don't know if that's exact, but that's why I think we talked about this before. That's why I think the Xbox One gets a hit
graphically.
So
with the what is it? The resolution.
Yeah. In terms of the games that are for both platforms, not the games that are exclusively for those consoles. But I think it was correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the same thing with the Xbox 360 and the PS3. It was much easier to make games on the Xbox 360 than it was for the PS3 because of its cell processor and stuff. So I think that's why a lot of the Call of Duties and a lot of those core games were on, in my understanding, on Xbox 360, exclusive Microsoft. And then I think now it's just swapped over.
Yeah.
So, which is why that's what I see when I see all this exclusive grabbing and all that stuff, because I think developers are choosing the PS4 on top of its popularity, politics, all that kind of stuff. That's how I see is that developers are finding it easier to create games with PS4 devs.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly the Xbox One is struggling to perform at the same standard that the PS4 is, but
it's just small things like it's a frame rate.
Yeah, it'll be like 980p instead of 1080p or whatever. But if you are a developer trying to show off your game at E3, are you going to show it off on the console that does it at 980p or the one that does it at 1080p? I mean,
I know which one I'd pick.
Exactly. So, Oh, right. I picked my bicep. So, yep, good to see some more Star Wars action. That game looks freaking amazing. I don't know if we talked about it enough during the EA conference chat that we did, but the game looks fucking great.
It looks cool. I mean, cool.
That's a contender for Game of Show as well. It really is.
You asked me before, what would you play as, third or first person?
Yeah. So I'll ask it again. What would you play as, third or first person?
Good reflection. I playing a lot of the games now that have the third and first person. I find that I'm switching between because I feel like it's kind of a mechanic to like say if you're flying an X-wing to be in third person, and then once you line up that shot, you go into first person, and I feel like it's all part of it, and then you go back into third person.
Yeah, when you duck into cover, you go third.
To do a barrel roll,
you can see. And...
But it depends. Like some people like one more than the other. I tend to find it easier to play in third person than I do in first.
I seem to remember playing Battlefront 2 in third person, but I feel like now, especially I'm a far more seasoned...
They were always in third person, unless you're on PC.
Right, okay, well then that's why I did. Yeah. But I'm far more seasoned as a first person shooter player now that I think having the choice... Because, okay, let me put it to you. If you had to lock it in at the beginning of the game, you had to say, I'm going to play this level as third person. Yeah. Which would you choose?
I would pick third person.
You'd pick third?
Yeah,
I think now I'd pick first,
Yeah. No, because I tried playing Grand Theft Auto 5, the remastered one, in first person, and I found it doing the same. Like I couldn't see while I was driving.
It was hard,
but
I enjoyed it.
Like switching over to like motorcycles, they were easy in first person for me because I could see.
It was easier to get through those gaps. Yeah.
So we might have the same thing with that, but I don't know. I like the idea that you could switch between the two. And, and enjoy both, and depending on your style to switch between. So
yeah, you may as well take advantage of what they offer.
Cool. What else? No, I'm really looking forward to that. The biggest one for the Sony conference, which they ended on, which you've probably already seen, and I'm really excited for it.
Little Big Planet 4.
Hater. Uncharted 4.
I'm not a hater. I bought my console for this game.
Hater. Still a hater.
Uncharted 4.
Bought it and still hating.
I can't wait for this game.
Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Yeah, it's the end. It's the end of the saga.
Supposedly.
Well...
Now, wait, but before we go any further though, in the E3 conference, the first tech demo...
failed.
Crashed,
yeah. Well, yeah, the console...
Couldn't move,
stalled or something. They couldn't manipulate the character with the control pad somehow. I think
I was wondering what the fuck going on, and like everything was going so well.
Oh, everything was going Sony's conference so well. Had been flawless, to be honest. They'd hit all the beats they needed to hit, and then they come to their final like swan song sort of finale.
Our awesome stuff,
and it was like, of all the times to fail.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. I couldn't help but have a little bit of a laugh, and then it just kind of fades out, and then it started again, and I was like, what the hell?
But you know what? I like that because
it shows that they're using the game. They're actually doing the game.
A proper demo, and they have the balls to do that, you know?
Imagine what they were thinking out back. Like, oh fuck, oh shit, oh crap.
Well, they had a backup console that they booted.
Yeah, exactly.
They were trying to get ready really quickly.
But imagine being those guys in Naughty Dog. It's like, man, we've been spending the last couple of years on this game, and finally we get to show it. Oh no, quickly, switch to another console.
But it goes to show how much love there is for that game and how much the fans are prepared to just... no one gives a shit that happened.
Forgetting all that crap, like, even though... Look, what do you think of the trailer?
Looked amazing. Looked ridiculously amazing.
Yeah.
It looked borderline open world and stuff. Like that chase section where he was just going left, right. It looked like he was just doing whatever the fuck he pleased. And... God, the choice, and the dialogue that was coming out, the banter between Sully and
Uncharted
Nate.
has always had that kind of stuff, and it's good that they don't have to cut into have a cutscene, that they can actually just chat. And,
they just go for it.
And even jumping into the Jeep and going down, turning, and like just little things. Hey, I think we've lost the truck, and then it comes in and they're looking at each other and like, oh damn it, or
lost the truck, whatever, you know, they're just they're just riffing.
In terms of going in terms of the detail, if you look closely, you can see that Nate's changing gears or doing little thing, moving, putting his hand on Sully's shoulder or something, and Sully looking at the side of the truck as they hit a wall, and he's like, God damn it. Like,
Yeah, that sort of shit. It's good.
Yeah,
that
so all that
attention
stuff,
to detail that really helps drag you into that world and believe in these characters and believe in the experiences that they're having. And you need to, because they're so crazy. Like, the things that are happening with these guys are ridiculous. So you need to be invested. You need to believe. And they make it so
and you
easy.
believe because the acting's done so well. Like
the voice capture, the mocap.
Nathan Drake, played by Nolan North, who holds a world record, I believe, for holding the most the voices for games. You've probably heard him so many times, and
you may not even know.
He's been in everything, but and also his Nathan Drake's older brother Sam is played by Troy Baker, who's
you'll probably also have heard
from Last of Us, who played Joel.
Yeah,
but them two have an interesting chemistry.
Because they already know each other. Right? They're already friends.
They're friends. They worked with each other on Shadow of Mordor as well.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
So they're opposing guys in that.
I was listening to an interview with Troy Baker, and he was saying that the guys actually got in touch with him and said that they wanted him to come on board with this project because they knew the relationship that he had with Nolan North, and they wanted to have that chemistry. They wanted that.
Well, those Troy Baker's definitely flavor of the month. He's been ever since
flavor of the last 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. He's been in a lot of stuff. So
I don't think I've played a game without him, to be honest.
Yeah, well, talented dude, man.
Oh, he is very talented because the range, he's been like Booker DeWitt to the Joker, the range.
He was the Joker.
Yeah, in Origins.
On Origins, Batman Origins, he played the Joker.
He's actually Two-Face in Arkham Knight.
Oh wow! So you do everything, bastard.
Yeah.
But Uncharted 4 seems really cool, and if you haven't played Uncharted 4, which you actually recently... Oh, sorry, the Uncharted series. So the Uncharted collection is coming to PS4 for any of those who...
Did they even announce that? They kind of just passed
Oh, no,
over
they announced it before E3.
Oh, did they?
Like,
right.
I think it got leaked early, so then they came up with a full-blown announcement, but they don't need to show that stuff. It's already out.
Yeah, it's just an HD.
And
it is, Like, it's...
Yep, HD, all this DLC and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah, cool.
For the collection, but what I got, it's great. It's great. What I got from the Sony conference though is that I find that they're fully guns blazing, looking ahead to the future.
Yeah,
not going backwards with their backwards compatibility or any of those old school games, which is why I don't think that they're showing Uncharted collection because those are all their past games. So, but from a lot of the stuff that I get here, it just seems like they're just gunning for what's next.
Yeah,
for them.
It's a shame they didn't think about that a couple of months ago, so they actually had something coming out this year.
What? Oh. Who gives a fuck?
But it is interesting you say that, because there was the Gears of War remaster, there was the Rare replay, and then there was the backward compatibility. Like, there was a lot of backward stuff.
That's for Microsoft. I think that's a good way to kind of bring back their fans. I thought.
They're saying to their fans that we're listening.
Yes. Yes.
And we're making amendments to make you happy. These are the things you want.
Where I find that Sony is gunning for the future,
and they can. They're the winning horse so far in this race, so they can do what they want, really. Speaking
of winning horses, how do you think the Sony conference went, though?
I thought it was a very good conference.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that they had as many announcements as they did. And very surprised, because to me they had the best new IP, which was Horizon. They had the best surprise, which was Final Fantasy VII. And there was something else as well, which they had the most exclusives in terms of exclusive sort of supporting content.
Yeah. But with all that stuff as well, with all these exclusives and all these things, you keep bringing up that it's nothing for this year.
Yeah.
Do you think that really matters and all that stuff? Where Microsoft is the complete opposite. A lot of their stuff is out by the end of this year.
I think that does actually hold favour for Microsoft. If we're putting on a scoreboard here and we're going one for Microsoft and one for Sony, it is definitely one for Microsoft that they've got all of these exclusive games coming out this year. That's fucking huge. They were able to get up on stage and say you can play these this year. And Sony, they didn't do that with a single one, did they?
No.
Yeah. So I think that counts against you, especially when you consider that Microsoft did have stuff for next year. They've got their Quantum Break and their Scalebound and their Crackdowns, and there's probably other things in the pipeline, and they're just sitting on that for next year. Whereas Sony, they couldn't. They had to talk about what's coming next year because they had nothing. And they had to drag in all these other third parties into their own conference because they had nothing. And it does put an extra point for Microsoft. But I still feel that Sony had the better conference just in terms of the surprises.
Yeah.
Just in terms of that new IP. And in terms of their presentation, Microsoft's a little corporate. They're a little stiff. I like Phil Spencer, but I felt like everybody who got on stage for Sony felt a little more real and a little... Yeah, it just felt a little more natural. I felt their flow... Like, Microsoft did good flow as well, actually, but...
Yeah.
I thought the flow of Sony's one was a little better.
I really liked their conference. I thought it was more on kind of what I was interested in. Even though you're saying a lot of their stuff doesn't come out till 2016, I'm okay if I'm playing Fallout 4. They'll keep me busy.
That's the thing. They're lucky.
Probably won't be finishing Witcher till 2016.
Yeah,
probably longer.
PlayStation, when they heard about this Fallout announcement, they were probably sitting there going,
keep them busy. Keep them busy.
Because now Microsoft's got Rise of the Tomb Raider and Halo falling within a couple of weeks of bloody that, and Star Wars is just after that as well. You know, like there's just too many massive games that are all coming head to head. You can't buy them all. And you're not going to switch. If you've got a PlayStation 4, you've got no reason to jump ship just to play Rise of the Tomb Raider or Halo, because you can go, well, I can still play Star Wars and Fallout and Metal Gear Solid, you know, like you can just sit back and wait for these awesome games like Uncharted that are coming out next year. So yeah, it kind of worked out in Sony's favour that it didn't really matter about, this year so much. I think the other reason why I think I enjoyed Sony's conference was I felt like it was theirs to lose. You know, I felt like Microsoft did whack it out of the park. And that we already knew Microsoft probably would, because we knew they had all these awesome games. Yeah. And on the flip side, we knew Sony kind of didn't. And so when Sony were able to still step up to the plate and smash one out as well,
we've got nothing.
It kind of makes you go, fuck, all right. You know, like it just.
That's a good point.
That in itself blew me away. So yeah, it's big ups to them. That was an amazing conference, but not my favorite conference overall. I must admit, my favorite conference.
What's your favorite?
Was Fallout. Fallout.
Okay. The Fallout conference.
Bethesda.
That
guy, what's his name? Rob.
Were you going to say Spencer?
No,
Spencer.
No, that's Phil Spencer.
Oh, yeah.
No, I can't remember his name. I think it's Rob somebody. The dude who did the talk for Fallout.
I know who you're on about.
So natural, so in tune with what people want. Like the way he communicated that game and the way he spoke to the audience and the way he just presented in general, it was just so...
Is it just him, or you
so calm,
the Bethesda...
No, Bethesda as a whole was great. I even liked the other dude.
Yeah.
You know, he was great as well. I thought the entire conference was brilliant. But it just... In terms of a conference, if you're going to judge a conference, I feel you do need to judge the people presenting, because they are the ones that sort of keep the flow of it going and allow you to be able to relate to them and relate to the games.
He did do a really good job. Fuck, this is bad that we don't remember his name.
Rob,
somebody.
Go with Rob.
Guy who created Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. He did have a kind of... he was just really laxed, and he spun out a lot of content about Fallout 4, and that's what everybody was waiting for.
And he was funny.
They wanted to see Fallout 4, and Doom didn't really do it for me, but I pretty much just watched that just to hear about Fallout 4.
Yeah.
E3 overall, man. Bro, I was spent. I was spent watching all this stuff.
It's one of the best E3s ever.
Quite
possibly the best E3 ever.
Wow.
There are just so many games. Dude, I could list every game that's at E3, and all of them will blow your mind, and I'll be here for another 20 minutes. There's that many freaking games, and they're all amazing, and a lot of them are coming out this year. It's freaking crazy. So... Yeah, I would definitely put this up there as one of the best E3s.
It's definitely one of the most exciting I've watched. I don't want to say ever, but definitely the most
in
exciting.
Recent memory.
Definitely have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah,
a lot of games, new games. Finally, Star Wars.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a great.
It's going to be a great summer.
Great summer for us.
Well, for us. For Kiwis. Those down under. Yeah. We're the winners, really. It doesn't... Every conference won, and overall, the gamers won.
Oh, it's pretty much Christmas for gamers around E3 time, eh?
Yeah, well, this particular one. So
much goodness.
Awesome that everyone did so well, and no one's sitting here going, oh, yeah, Microsoft failed, or Sony failed. No one cares, because everyone...
No one cares, but it's still fun to talk about.
It's fun to talk about it, but it's just so great that didn't happen, that everyone was great. And everything is looking good. The horizon is looking good.
Bro, I think that's us for Sony, man.
Yeah.
You want to close us off?
All right, well,
you're awesome at it.
So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. That was the last of our probably 4-part series on our breakdown of the E3 conferences. So, yeah, hit us up on Twitter if you've got any suggestions for things you want to see or hear in the future. We're at 4NZGamers. You can also find us on YouTube if you want to subscribe to us or like us or follow us there as well. That's great. And you can also find us on Facebook. So, yeah, 4NZGamers.
Yo, peace!